Donald Trump is an aging, decaying old man that can't seem to keep his emotions in check, and it was blatantly evident on his latest interview with Meet the Press, where he fully crashed out like the toddler that he is.
You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But, Mr. President,
you know why I got that? Because you have no
evidence.
Credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about, I want to talk about Todd
You
Blanche.
have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk
Your
about...
elections in this country, we're like a third world country. Your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC, and CBS, and CNN.
But, Mr. President...
You're one-sided, crooked networks. All right, let's call it quits, because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please... I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain with you.
I know.
I've sat in the rain with you for an hour, on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press, because you know what? A country can never be great with a dishonest press.
We traveled all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
So that was a snippet of his interview with Meet the Press, where, of course, he ended up walking out because he hates when the press, but especially women, call him out on his lies. And he apparently just can't stand being asked about, the truth, like what you said you were going to do, or, the things that you're saying that you claim to have evidence for that you've never showed evidence for. What's up with that, bro? And he literally cannot sit and answer any actual questions, basic questions. He hates it when the press asks him basic questions, which is what our job actually is as journalists. But especially when a woman does it, he actually hates it. Before we get into today's episode, YouTube audience, make sure that you are fully subscribed. It really helps me grow this channel. And if you would like to see the full length episodes, you can subscribe over on Substack. That is where the full length episodes of my podcast always go to first, and YouTube gets a shorter version of those episodes. So make sure that you are subscribed on Substack. It is free, or you can become a paid subscriber there, but make sure that you also hit the subscribe button on this channel. It really helps me grow. Leave a comment down below as you watch today's episode as well, so that I know that you are fully engaged. Okay, let's go. One of the things that you will notice from that interview is that he was being asked about also the compensation fund. So he was trying to push for and advocate for January 6thers to be compensated from a settlement of a lawsuit where he sued his own IRS, the IRS that he oversees. He sued them while he was in office, which has literally never happened before in American history, and settled in a super corrupt, in my opinion, process where they are giving him slightly over $1 billion, and he is going to use that as a compensation fund for people that he feels the Biden administration unfairly targeted. So CNN wrote two different articles that I kind of want to get into because they do a really good job of kind of exposing what this corruption is all about. So, a few weeks ago, the Justice Department announced the creation of a $1.776 billion fund. That amount is very, very specific, and we're going to talk about that in a second. So that fund is to compensate President Donald Trump's allies who claimed that they were unfairly targeted by the previous administration, by the Biden administration. It is an unprecedented move that would allow the president's administration to pay his supporters from a government agency that he controls with taxpayer money. This is taxpayer money that is going to go to January 6thers, who some of which have been convicted of crimes and attempting to cause a coup after the election. There appears to be a few constraints on who can submit to claim who can submit a claim to the fund. The president has broadly stated that his allies were politically targeted by the justice system, from the years-old Russian collusion investigation to nearly 1,600 people charged in connection to the January 6th U.S. Capitol riot. Its creation comes as Trump dropped his $10 billion lawsuit alleging that the IRS failed to protect Trump and the Trump Organization from an unauthorized leak of their tax returns. So the so-called anti-weaponization fund, with its symbolic 1776 figure. So I told you we were going to talk about this. The 1776. Guys, I don't think I need to tell you what that year actually stands for. So he decided to have the IRS give him that symbolic amount all through this corrupted grift that he is doing. So that is likely to face immediate challenges in court from Democrats and watchdog organizations who say the effort amounts to corruption by allowing the president to enrich allies over what critics they say are unfounded claims of political persecution by the Biden administration. But Trump on a couple weeks ago said that those poised to benefit from the fund were treated brutally. And so there's another article that CNN put out where some of those January 6ers, those Trump allies, claim that happened to them after they were convicted of their crimes. So they spoke to a couple people who were, of course, election deniers, were at the riot on January 6th. And they claim, we're not able to find jobs. We're not able to pay our bills. We want this money to fund us for the attempted coup that we tried to do after the election because we're a bunch of election deniers. So here's a fun little quote for you. Quote, "I can't even find a job answering the phone at a motorcycle dealership. This is a convicted January 6th rioter, Dominic Box, who spent a year and a half in jail awaiting trial and then was later pardoned by Donald Trump himself. Quote, I can't find a way to support myself right now. I lost my career. I look forward to financial compensation. I really need it. This will be a welcome relief." And then the MyPillow guy. Remember that guy? The CEO of MyPillow, Mike Lindell, told CNN that he believes his company lost $400 million due to what he views as government weaponization in the aftermath of the 2020 election. Mike Lindell gave millions of dollars to the Trump administration, fully endorsed Donald Trump, and according to his own words, lost $400 million in business because of it. Now he wants the Trump administration to compensate him for his lost revenue. Quote, he says, "I would say we were the number one company in the world hurt by our own government." This is Mike Lindell. So I find it super interesting that once again, we cannot have nice things because of this Trump administration. He has always known, Donald Trump, to be a full-on toddler, that he cannot answer a simple, basic question that doesn't put him in the best light to his delusional cult-like supporters. And so, of course, he's going to walk out of an interview where he does not want to answer the most basic of questions. I know that a lot of people who listen to, my takes and my podcast will fully understand, that this man is just completely delusional and senile. And, according to some conspiracy theories, is fully demented. But that is a story that has gone viral that I think we should be paying attention to, not because we want to give Trump more media coverage, but because it actually is hurting American citizens, right? It's causing so much chaos, not just because of the attack with Iran, but because he is now using taxpayer money to pay people who have been convicted of crimes. When Mehdi Hasan did his debate on Surrounded, the similar structure that I did my debate with Dave Rubin, he literally said that one of his prompts said that Donald Trump is pro-crime because he continues to do things like this. He pardons January 6ers. He continues to, he did the thing with I think it was the president of Honduras, where he pardoned some president that was caught smuggling drugs. He pardoned him, but then went after the president of Venezuela on account of drug trafficking when there was no evidence for that. So he's clearly the most corrupt president that we've ever had, so much so that people that used to be on his side and still consider themselves MAGA Republicans are fully crashing out on him too and are denouncing his corruption. Megyn Kelly, for one. Joe Rogan, too, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. Like, the list is continuing to build because even his own voter base completely disillusioned with a lot of the corruption that he has been fully running with. So that is the story on Donald Trump, full-on toddler tantrum, and everyone can see his corrupt ways. Make sure that if you haven't subscribed already, that you subscribe over on Substack, over on YouTube. If you prefer to listen to this strictly on audio, you can do so by subscribing over on Apple Podcasts. And make sure that you leave a comment, whether it's on Substack or YouTube. Let me know what you think about Trump's full-on tantrum on Meet the Press. This man, we just cannot simply get a day of peace with this man. All right, guys, I will see you in the next episode.